Tonight on KGW News, after barely surviving the 2020 wildfires, dozens of homeowners in this Oregon town are forced to rebuild again.
It's freakish that this much would happen in a span of 5 years.
It's calm on this Monday night, but that's about to change. We have a weather impact alert because of windstorm potentially on the way just in time for Christmas Eve.
And as last-minute Christmas shoppers get it done, why many say this is the season Portland finally turns a corner.
When I've come down here, it always seems to be getting better each year.
And later, a month behind schedule. What to know as ski season finally gets underway. Good evening, everyone. David Molko with you on this Monday. We want to get right to breaking news and two separate crashes tonight, both which may have involved pedestrians. The first was in southeast Portland near 82nd and Glenwood around 7:30, while the initial call out was for a pedestrian crash. So far, police have not gotten back to us with any additional details. Meanwhile, in Washington County, one person is dead after they were hit by a car in Aloha. This is around 8:30 near TV Highway and 198th. TV Highway remains closed in both directions as sheriff's deputies investigate. We'll update you on both these breaking stories as we learn more. Well, now to another weather impact alert, and just ahead of the holiday with strong winds forecast to arrive on Christmas Eve morning as many are still cleaning up from last week's windstorm and atmospheric river. Let's go right to meteorologist Joe Ranieri. So, Joe, how strong of winds are we talking about?
Very strong. Some of the strongest we've seen in a while, anywhere from 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, potentially at the peak. Now, the window for the peak will be just a couple of hours, but still, our ground is super saturated, so it's not going to take much to see the potential of down trees and power outage. Now, this weather impact alert, David, will take effect on Christmas Eve, Wednesday. Basically, the wind advisory will be in place pretty much most of the day with damaging winds possible. Gusts anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour. Again, with those kind of gusts, we could be seeing down trees, down power lines, as well as power outages as well. The wind advisory stretches from southwest Washington all the way down into southern Oregon. So the track of this system is coming from the south, and if it stays south, we're not going to be seeing much impacting weather here in the metro area, which would be a good thing. But if it moves north, which I'm expecting, we will be seeing gusts anywhere from 50 to 60 miles an hour. So as we go to tomorrow, we're looking at basically more dry than wet conditions, and the winds aren't going to be a factor for your Tuesday. But we go into late tomorrow, still not a whole lot with the winds. Early Wednesday morning, we could be seeing those gusts near the PDX right around 30 miles an hour. As we go throughout the later part of the day, kind of went through that a little fast, my apologies. But again, anywhere from 40 to 50 miles an hour. This is just one location I chose in the metro area, Hillsborough, right around 11 o'clock. Yeah, gusts up to 40, 45 miles an hour. Again, that could easily take down trees and power lines, and not ideal with a lot of people getting ready to head out for the holidays. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast about 10 minutes from now.
All right, thank you, Joe. And with those powerful winds in the forecast, local officials are preparing for conditions similar to what we saw last week, including the threat, as Joe mentioned, of down trees and with them power lines. Right now, the Oregon Department of Emergency Management is warning of potential power outages, and PGE says it is already preparing crews and staging materials in order to address outages quickly.
But this week I think there's an added element to it. We have the holidays, and it is, and we just had the outages last week. So I think we are taking advantage of the time we have now to give folks that as much warning and kind of advanced planning as possible.
Again, as you heard from Joe, tomorrow, one day of calm, and then all bets are off. PGE, by the way, recommends putting together an outage kit, depending on, of course, your living situation and circumstances. Some of the things to consider: a flashlight or headlamps, a battery-powered or hand-crank radio, a car-compatible charger for your devices, and enough ready-to-eat food and bottled water for about 72 hours. Meanwhile, many living in an Oregon town that barely survived the 2020 wildfires are now working to pick up the pieces after last week's storms. We're talking about Detroit, which is still under a state of emergency, and a boil water notice. According to the Oregon State Fire Marshal, over 70 structures were damaged, including homes and RVs. Most of that came from those strong winds overnight Wednesday, knocking trees onto homes. Water, for most people, finally came back on today after it was shut off all weekend.
This storm churned up tons and tons of debris, and trying to filter that debris through a water plant and keep fresh water flowing, it's really difficult. I've been in Detroit since 1971. My family's been here, and we've seen storms here, but I've never seen one like this.
A boil water notice remains in effect until test results show that water is safe. All right, in Clackamas County, most evacuation orders have been lifted in Oregon City now following a landslide last week. This video from Saturday shows crews working to clean up the slide. This is near the Applegate Terrace neighborhood. Officials say the 2 homes hit by debris are now safe to re-enter, though residents there have to be ready to leave again in case the hill starts moving. Level 1B ready evacuation orders have been lifted for others living nearby.
And it's actually, this is one of the first times in a while where it's felt like a real pleasure to be downtown.
New at 11, with less than 3 days till the holiday, it seems the Rose City has something to celebrate in the form of a jump in the number of people shopping downtown and where they're coming from. Catherine Cook explains why the city, along with small businesses, is already claiming victory when it comes to Christmas.
As city officials release numbers they say reflect increased foot traffic this Christmas season compared to last year, and in some cases nearly to pre-pandemic levels. They're really encouraged by that and can't wait to see what the future brings. Between the twinkle lights, shopping bags, and darting through the rain, you could feel the energy and urgency Monday night. And are you done with your Christmas shopping?
I will be, hopefully by the end of the day today.
Many shoppers in Portland's Pearl District picked up on something else.
Like when I've come down here, it always seems to be getting better each year, especially right now. There's so many people like out shopping and stuff, so it feels good to be down here. Yeah.
But does that feeling reflect reality or just holiday excitement? On Monday, the city shared new numbers suggesting things really are getting better, at least when it comes to holiday foot traffic downtown. The data from Prosper Portland and Placer AI shows 130,700 visitors hit Portland's Central City West Side on Small Business Saturday, November 29th. That's 20% more than last year and just 8% less than 2019, before the pandemic.
Right after the pandemic, it looked much worse. It looked like a scene out of Mad Max. It was quite stressful to be in, but now it feels like the Portland I grew up in.
Henry Lovegren lives out of state now, which makes changes, good and bad, really stand out on these hometown visits.
I'd say there are definitely challenges that you see, but to have a positivity bias, it looks great right now. I mean, this area in particular I really like, and I feel very safe.
I think we've definitely turned a corner this year.
Eric Fry is manager at the Made Here store in the Pearl.
Money spent, in the community, stays in the community a lot more.
The store's been here 11 years, but Fry says they lost a ton of business after so many downtown employees started working from home. But this season, he says suburban shoppers are returning.
I don't know how many times today I've heard, oh my gosh, the store's amazing. It's so beautiful. Like, how long have you been here for? And it's like, you only get that if people weren't coming downtown before, so it is nice to hear it.
Who knows what next season will bring or what Portland will look like during Henry Lovegren's next visit, but he can hope.
We all hope Portland has an amazing recovery and further growth into the next year.
And after Christmas, the city's hoping for another economic push. They're hosting a New Year's Eve drone show at Pioneer Courthouse Square. They hope that brings out families and a lot of shoppers to really finish this year strong. In downtown Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
It's good to see and hear the optimism, right? All right, to get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, attorneys general for 20 Democrat-led states, including both Oregon and Washington, are suing the Trump administration for defunding the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The CFPB, as it's known, is the main independent watchdog meant to protect American consumers. Its current director is Russell Vogt, a key author of the Project 2025. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield says Vogt is refusing to request any funding for the agency, virtually guaranteeing it runs out of money next month. The lawsuit asks the judge to order the agency to request the funding in order to continue operating. In an update, the city of Newport is also suing the Trump administration, saying the federal government still plans to put an ICE detention facility in town without following the proper procedures. The lawsuit names Homeland Security, ICE, and the Coast Guard as defendants and alleges the plan violates environmental protection laws. It also claims the facility would put undue stress on the town's aging infrastructure and economy. The city is now asking a federal judge to step in and stop it. And Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has announced $65 million will go toward residential behavioral health treatment that will pay for 150 new beds across 7 counties, supporting things like withdrawal management and psychiatric inpatient care. This will build on 128 existing beds in Multnomah County. New projects are set to come online in 2027, including 30 beds in Marion County and 22 in Washington County. To an update tonight into a months-long investigation into the McLaren Youth Correction Facility, with a Marion County grand jury finding a long list of concerns of why both youth and staff at the Woodburn facility are at risk. Now, KGW went inside that complex last week. The grand jury report finding that staff sexual abuse of youth was the most damaging and concerning issue. On top of that, the report also found problems with drugs and weapons, challenges with staffing, a lack of response to dangerous gang activity, and a backlog in reported safety concerns. Here is the facility's superintendent.
We're pretty transparent about the struggles we've had here historically or in the past couple years, especially following COVID and during COVID. And we're really just hoping that it highlights our commitment to re-energizing and reorganizing and moving things forward.
In a statement, Marion County's DA wrote, quote, "This is only a starting point and should serve as a catalyst for policymakers, state leaders, and experts to address these concerns and do better for both our youth and our communities." The grand jury, by the way, also issued 10 criminal indictments for alleged conduct at the facility, some of it involving staff members. Blair Best has a full breakdown of the inquiry, including the grand jury's recommendations. You can watch it right now at kgw.com.